Om Sri Sai Ram. With Swami's immense love and blessings, in complete reverence and fortitude to be a host of this entire program, and also thank our dearest Lord who has blessed to organize this mega event. Most importantly, my humble regards to the many people who have come across, especially devoting themselves into this program, including artists, musicians, dance artists, orators, yoga gurus, yoga teachers, singers. I would like to convey my special thanks to Babaji Shivananda, who has agreed and who has blessed this event as it progresses. Om Sri Sai Ram. With Swami's immense love and blessings, I would now like to take you over for the Ladies' Day celebrations. Thank you so much.
मोदकं सदा मुक्तिसाधकं कटाधरावतं सकं विलासि लोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विलासिते भदैत्यकं नतासुभासुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम् अनायकैकनायकं विलासिते भदैत्यकं नतासुभासुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम् नमामि तं विनायकम्
ओम ततकिट धिप ततकिट तदिंगिन
नतेतरातिथीकरं नवो नमस्सुरारि निर्जनं नतातिकापदुर्धरं सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरम् सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरम् प्रतिभाजनं पुरारि पूर्वनन्दनं सुरारि गर्वचर्वनं प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम् प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम् भजे पुराणवारणम्
झनक झे झनक जगनक जगनक जगनक
विकान्तकान्तदन्तकान्तिमन्तकान्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमल्पहीनमल्तराय कृन्तनं मृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनाथमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम् मृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनाथमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम् हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनाथमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम् महागणेश पञ्चरत्नमादरेण योऽन्यहं प्रजल्पति प्रभातके हृदिस्मरर्गणेश्वरम् आरोगतामधोषतां सुसाहितीं सुपुत्रतां समाहितायरष्टभूति अभ्युपैति सोचिरा ॐ गणाधिपतये नमः ॐ गणाधिपतये नमः ॐ गणाधिपतये नमः देवदेवं भजे दिव्यप्रभावम् देवदेवं भजे दिव्यप्रभावम् रावणासुरवैरणपुङ्गवं रामं 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 देवदेवं भजे दिव्यप्रभावम् पंकजासन विनुत परमनारायणो पंकजासन विनुत परमनारायणो शङ्करार्जित जनक चापगणनो पंकजासन विनुत परमनारायणो शङ्करार्जित जनक चापगणनो पंकजासन विनुत जनक चापदलनं पङ्कजासन विनुत परमनारायणं शङ्करार्चित जनक चापदलनं पङ्कजासन विनुत परमनारायणं शङ्करार्चित जनक चापदलनं
तक्किट्ट तक्क दिम्मि तक्किट्ट तक्क जुंडु तक्किट्ट तक्क दिम्मि तक्किट्ट तक्क दिम तक्क जुंडु तक्किट्ट तक्क दिम्मि तक्किट्ट तक्क जुंडु तक्किट्ट तक्क दिम्मि तक्किट्ट तक्क दिम तक्क जुंडु तक्क जुम तक्क तक्क जुम तक्क जुम तक्क दिम तक्किट्ट तक्क तक्क जुम तक्क जुम तक्क जुम तक्क दिम तक्किट्ट तक्क जुम तक्क दिम तक्किट्ट तक्क तक्क जुम तक्क दिम तक्किट्ट तक्क दई दिम तक्किट्ट तक्क तक्क दिम तक्किट्ट तक्क दई तदिम तक्किट्ट तक्क दिम तक्किट्ट तक्क दिको तदिम तक्किट्ट तक्क तदिम तर्गड़ तक तदिम तर्गड़ तक दिको तदिम तर्गड़ तक दे तदिम तर्गड़ तक तदिम तर्गड़ तक दे तर्गड़ तक तर्गड़ तक दे तर्गड़ तक त जम तक त जम त जम त धीम तरिकिट तक त धीम तरिकिट तक दे धीम तरिकिट तक त
शङ्करार्चित जनक चापदलनं
तक्किट तक दिक्किट तोंगिट नम किट तक्किट दिक्किट तक दिम तक तदिम तम तत जम तर्गिट तक तदिम दिम तत जम तर्गिट तक तदिम तम तत जम तत जम दिम तत जम तत जम तत जम तत जम तत जम तत जम तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक दम तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक को तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक दम तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक दम तंगिट तक तर्गिट तक दम तंगिट तक दम तर्गिट तक दम तम तत दिमि तम किट तक तरिकिट तक धीम तत दिमि तम किट तक तरिकिट तक तम किट तक तरिकिट तक ता तम किट तक तरिकिट तक ते तम किट तक तरिकिट तक ता
शङ्करार्चित जनक चापदलनं
धीम तक धीम तक तक तरिकिट तक तक धीम तक दिम तक तरिकिट तुम तत तंग तंग दिमि तंग चंड तंग किट तक तदिम तत तंग तंग दिमि तंग चंड तंग किट तक दिम तत तंग दिमि तत तंग तदिम तत तंग दिमि तत तंग तंग चंड तंग दिमि तंग किट तक तंग तंग दिमि तंग 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 तदिम धीम तत तंग तंग दिमि तंग झंड तंग किट तंग तदीम तत तंग तंग दिमि तंग झंड तंग किट तंग तदीम तत तंग दिमि तदीम तंग झंड तदीम तंग तंग दिमि तंग 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 किट तक तरिकिट तुम ता किट तक तरिकिट तुम ते किट तक तरिकिट तुम
शङ्करार्चित जनक चापदलनं शङ्करार्चित जनक चापदलनं
Sairam and Namaste to one and all. S. Nalini ji, with her whole family, came into Sai's fold in the year 1969. She, the first Nalini ji, delivered a speech in the divine presence of Swami in the first Bal Vikas rally held in 1973 at Vrindavan. She was personally chosen by Swami as a student of summer course in Vrindavan in 1977. She is a postgraduate in public administration, and Swami himself advised S. Nalini ji to join the bank. She joined a nationalized bank as a probationary officer and rose up to the level of assistant general manager. During her tenure at Shillong, Meghalaya, she conducted study circles and was instrumental in building of a temple for Swami at Lalchand Basti, which became a samiti in 2002. After her retirement in 2017, she started Sai Vibrionics practice. She is now a senior Vibrionics practitioner with international certification and has given Sai Vibrionics treatment to more than 1,000 people. Nalini ji, thank you so much for being with us today. Sai Ram.
Sri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of my most beloved Bhagavan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. Respected elders and my dear brothers and sisters, greetings to all of you on this special occasion of Ladies' Day. It is said, Jantu Nam Narajanma Durlabham. Among the 84 lakhs of species created by Bhagavan, it is our own merits and the grace of God which has resulted in being born as human beings. Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, being the creator of this universe, has revealed that among all the creations, women are superior. He said women are endowed with 7 sacred qualities like fortitude, patience, sacrifice, love, compassion, repositories of truth, and culture. If women are respected and honored, there will be prosperity and happiness in that home or in the society. If women are made to be taking part in many of the activities of the world in the society, then naturally the world will become a very sacred place to live in. Bhagavan Baba says that women are embodiments of Prakriti. Women are the embodiment of love, compassion, devotion, and truth. Mother Goddess is the embodiment, Mother Goddess Gayatri is the embodiment of women.
కనుకనే స్త్రీ తత్వమైనటువంటిది కేవలం సామాన్యమైనటువంటిదిగా మనం భావించకూడదు.
We should not think that the feminine principle is something
ప్రాచీన
ordinary.
కాలం నుండి కూడా ఈ యొక్క స్త్రీ శక్తి స్వరూపాన్ని అనేక విధములుగా కూడా ఆరాధిస్తూ వచ్చినారు.
From time immemorial, the feminine principle has been worshipped in many ways.
యత్ర నార్యాణాం పుణ్యతే వర్ధతే తత్ర దేవతానాం అనేది వేదం. అనగా ఎక్కడ స్త్రీలను గౌరవిస్తుంటామో, ఎక్కడ స్త్రీలను సరైన స్థానంలో ఉంచి వారిని సరైన గౌరవ మర్యాదలతో చూస్తామో, అక్కడే సర్వదేవతా స్వరూపమైనటువంటి శక్తులు ఆవిర్భవిస్తాయన్నారు.
Wherever the woman is worshipped and revered and respected, there will manifest all the folds of divinity.
ఎక్కడ నార్యస్, ఎక్కడ స్త్రీలో ఎక్కడ పూజిత జరుగుతుందో వారికి, ఎక్కడ వారిని గౌరవిస్తామో అక్కడనే సర్వ కళములతో కూడినటువంటి యొక్క దైవత్వం ఆవిర్భవిస్తుంది.
Divinity, manifesting all his various facets of glory, will be there where the woman is
కానీ
worshipped.
ఈనాడు దురదృష్టవశాత్తు స్త్రీలను గౌరవించడం ఒక అవమానంగా భావిస్తున్నారు.
It is unfortunate today today the people do not revere the woman.
స్త్రీలను గౌరవించడము అది చిన్నతనంగా విశ్వసిస్తున్నారు.
They think it is something very small and
ఇది
insignificant.
అజ్ఞానములకు ప్రథమ లక్షణం.
This is ignorance of the
ఈ
kind.
విధంగా మనము ఏమాత్రమూ భావించకూడదు.
We should not think in this way at all.
స్త్రీ గృహలక్ష్మి,
Woman is the Lakshmi of the
ఈమె
house.
ధర్మపత్ని,
She is the wife.
ఈమె ఇల్లాలు,
She is the woman of the
ఈమె
house.
అర్ధాంగి.
She is the half of the man.
ఈమె లేకుండా ఆ గృహం అడవిగా ఉంటుంది.
When the woman is not in the house becomes the forest.
కనుక అట్టి స్త్రీని మనం గౌరవించడము, వారి పేరెంట్కి స్థానం అందించడము, వారి కంటిదారులను కాల్చకుండా చూసుకునేటువంటి పద్ధతి ఈ పురుషులు భావించాలి, ఈ పురుషులు అనుసరించాలి.
Men have got to think today they should not make the women shed tears. They should always revere and respect her. Then only there will be prosperity.
It is the mother who shows the father to the child. It is the mother who shows the right path to the child to go towards. It is in this direction that Sri Satya Sai Baba has made transformation in the society. He started the Bal Vikas classes for children. He started the Mahila Vibhag for ladies. He started the Sevadal for ladies. He started the Anantapur College for women, which is on par with the men's college, where women take part in all the activities as that of men's college. He started the Ishwaramba Women's Welfare Trust. He started and he encouraged both men and women in spiritual education through summer courses. Swami Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba did not end with this. During his 70th birthday celebrations, out of his divine will, out of his divine compassion, he called all the ladies to come forward to accept his love and grace. He called it as Ladies' Day on 19th November. During the first Ladies' Day celebrated on 19th November during his 70th birthday celebrations, men dominated field of playing Nadaswaram, chanting Vedas, holding umbrella over the divine head of Swami. All these were done by ladies. In fact, Bhagwan was surrounded by ladies on that day. Not only that, he also made eminent ladies give speech in his divine presence. He also gave away cows as dana to women, which hitherto used to be received by men. Swami also blessed and guided the Sai Vibronics, a special holistic treatment for any kind of ailment. And through this, he made many women learn and practice this treatment. Many people are benefited by this, and the women have not only come out into the society to do service to Swami, but also to help people in many ways. As far as myself and my family are concerned, in the year 1969, first time we had the darshan of Swami in Brindavan, Whitefield, Bangalore, India. Those days in Brindavan used to be a very isolated place. There never used to be any conveyance or restaurants or canteens or anything like that. On the very first day, when my mother and all my sisters and myself, all ladies with my younger brother, we all went to Brindavan, and Swami had already come out to give darshan. We never knew the procedure, and we went straight to Swami, and Swami, like anybody whom we invite in the house, you know, when any guest comes and we invite them, please come sit, like that. So Swami told my mother, Amma, please come and sit here. He showed the place also. He spoke to us in our own language. It was very surprising and we were feeling very happy on that day. From that day onwards, we started going to Brindavan quite often. One day, it was a bhajan day, and as there were no canteens and anything, we used to carry the food with us and sometimes water also. Then there never used to be water available in Brindavan. They used to keep it in some pots in certain locations. So my mother, that day it was a summer day and my mother was feeling very thirsty, and during the afternoon, after having lunch, she wanted more water. She could not find water anywhere. I was walking along with her in Brindavan, and we went and searched for water in 3-4 pots. It was not available. Finally, in one pot there was little water, and I took that water and poured it into my mother's hand, and she drank like this. Then we were prepared for the evening darshan, and Swami came near us. And looking at my mother and myself, he said, he spoke to us in our Tamil language. He said, I will translate it into English. He said, is your thirst quenched? He asked. And then you searched for water here and there. Finally, you got water and you drank like this. He showed his hands like this. So it was quite surprising for us, because Swami, after darshan, morning darshan, he used to go to his residence, and which is a little far away from the rest of the place, and how he was able to see, and because we were very new, so these questions had come into our mind. So Swami shows in this that he cared not only for men but also women, and in his eyes both men and women are equal. Another incident happened where my mother had gone to Brindavan for darshan, and next to her one foreigner was sitting. Swami came there, and then he told in English, looking at my mother and that foreigner, said, come to Puttaparthi. After the darshan was over, my mother told my father, Swami said, come to Puttaparthi. My father did not believe. So he said, I'm sure Baba would not have called you, because you are not an important person there and we are ordinary people like that. Then my mother said, no, Swami said, you come to Puttaparthi. Then there was some argument going on. My father asked my mother, in what language he told you like that? First of all, you have little, hearing impairment, and how you heard this. Then my mother told, Swami told in English, come to Puttaparthi. Then my father was quite sure. He said, no, then that means it is not for you, it is for the foreigner, like that. Then actually, after long argument, my father felt a little, he had little, he was feeling little sad, and then he was thinking, okay, why disturb my mother, and let me satisfy her. So they went to Puttaparthi, and my mother had worn an ordinary sari, because the journey used to be very long, so many hours, more than 8 hours in the bus itself it used to take. So, but no sooner they reached, they had not even booked the accommodation or even washed their face, and by the time Swami came out, so they kept all their luggage and everything in one near the Ganesha, and they came, and my father just prostrated in front of Swami because he has already come. But Swami immediately beckoned my father like this with his finger, and then he said, go for the interview. So my mother was little disappointed, because she had carried some few silk sarees also, thinking that Swami would call next day or something like that, or whether he would call or not, that was also their doubt was there. But ultimately they were called for interview, and in the interview Swami said, he repeated all the arguments that took place between my father and my mother. So this shows that Swami also said, I only called, he told in the interview, I only called. So, and the very fact that Swami called them immediately, they had not even fixed their accommodation, it proves that Swami had really called them and then given them the satisfaction of interview, and also proved by his action and his concern that he is very much in favor of ladies. They should be respected, they should be honored, and this is what even my father had learnt from Swami during his lifetime. Myself and my brother, we were Bal Vikas students belonging to the first batch of Bal Vikas itself. And in 1973, on 13th January, there was very first Bal Vikas rally which was conducted in Brindavan. Actually, Swami never used to be there in Brindavan during Shankranti time. But this time, because of Bal Vikas rally, so he had come there. And from girls' side, I was asked to give a speech in the divine presence of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. It was a very different experience to speak in front of Bhagwan himself. Then 2 days later, Swami, it was my birthday and I had been to Whitefield because first ever birthday during which Swami is there in Brindavan. So I had carried some flowers in my hands and I went. Swami came near me and I told him that it was my birthday. Swami looked at me and then said, "Hey, you gave speech day before yesterday, no?" Like that. I said, "Yes, Swami." And he said, "It was very nice," like that. Then Swami himself appreciated that too. Standing in front of me, he had appreciated the talk that I had given. In fact, during the talk, there was a big applause also on that day. Then I was a little, disappointed, like, Swami, when I was telling my birthday, I think Swami had not heard it like that. But what happened after two ladies, he came from behind and then I turned and he said, "Is it your birthday today?" I said, "Then birthday, no?" Like that. I said, "Yes, Swami." Then he touched my head with his divine hands and then he created vibhuti and gave it to me. So he made me happy as a girl child. And later on, within a year's time, a big thing happened to me that I had contacted a kind of skin disease which was supposed to be very poisonous in those days. That was in 1974. The doctor gave every day one injection. Like that, 48 injections were given for 48 days. But the disease got spread all over my body. And there was no cure, and the doctor said that she has to be isolated and there should not be any, her plates, her tumbler, everything should be kept aside. So I became totally isolated. I stopped talking to anybody. In the school, they stopped me from coming to the school. So all these things were there. And my mother was feeling, and also the doctor had given a kind of ointment which has to be put all over the body, which means that, even on the back and on the head and everywhere, forehead, face, everywhere it was being smeared that. So I could not, because my skin was so filthy, I cannot imagine again as to how it was. My mother asked my father, "Baba is there, no? Why don't we go and tell Swami about it?" My father said, "No, it is our karma. Whatever bad deeds we have done, we have to endure the consequences of it." So my father is one who would never ask Swami anything. So then my mother was telling, "If you say like this, what will happen to our child?" And then my mother said, "At least write a letter and give it." My father wrote a letter and gave. The next day, myself and my sisters, we went to Brindavan. It was a big crowd And Swami looked at me. I was holding the letter in my hand, but he didn't come near me because it was already late. He had finished the darshan already almost when we reached a little late because of the train. Then Swami went away. Then my eldest sister who accompanied me and my second sister also who accompanied me, among them my eldest sister said that I would go back because I have to go to the office. So both of you stay behind and see another, wait for another darshan and see what Swami will say. And in the afternoon it was time for lunch and there was no canteen facility, so my mother had packed one tiffin box of rice and my sister said, come, we'll have rice. Then I told, what is the use of taking food? I am going to die one day and so very soon I will die. And because of this disease, because the doctor said that one of his relatives who contacted this kind of disease had, had expired because the scales, poisonous ones had gone into the stomach through the mouth. So I told my sister that it is not possible, you are going to live, so you take the food. My sister said, no, please take at least handful. I said, then in that case you put it in my hand and I will eat it. So she gave it in my hand and I ate it. Then in evening it was time for darshan and I was sitting there with the same letter in my hand. My sister was sitting next to me and Swami in the evening, he came lifting his robes like this and then he came straight to me and then he asked, what happened? Like that. Then I said, I showed my hands, I could show only my hands, so I said, Swami, it has been like this. Then my sister said, Swami, the doctor says it is psoriasis, a kind of disease, a skin disease. Those days there was no cure for psoriasis. Then Swami said, psoriasis illa, onnum illa. Means it is not psoriasis, it is nothing. And then he said, Swami will cure, Swami will give prasadam and he will cure, he said like that. Then he touched my head again on that day with a blessing and then he created vibhuti and gave it to me saying that you take this, you will be all right. I could have taken that whole thing in my mouth just like that, but I did not do because my mother who had been behind me, encouraging me and giving confidence to me, so I just wanted to show this to her. So I brought it home. And my mother was happy that Swami had given vibhuti and then he said, this is your medicine henceforth, and she told, take this pinch, one pinch, put it in water and drink, that is your medicine, she told. I also believed in that and from that day I stopped going to the doctor. First day I took and some part of the disease had gone from some part of my bodies and second day, third day like that and on fourth day I am like this. There is no trace of my disease anywhere in my body. This is what Swami had done and but I did not go back to the school. I was waiting for some more days to see and in between what happened, my father was walking passing the clinic of the doctor and doctor that day had no patients at that time. He was standing outside looking at my father. He asked, why Nalini is not coming? My father said, she will not come. Arey, how can it be? She had such a filthy disease and how she cannot come? Then my father told, no, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba had cured her. He is her doctor and like that. Then he said, no, anyway there is no patient in my clinic. I will close it and I want to come and see. And then he came and he was so shocked to see me that my skin was glowing. And there was no trace of anything and he immediately became a Sai devotee and because he was a big man that one day he also came behind Swami, that kind of status he got it. It is not only this, then in 1977 I was studying in the first year degree college. Usually Swami used to conduct spiritual classes for 1 month under the name of summer course and from 1972 he had been conducting summer course in Vrindavan for 1 month for both boys and girls drawn from different parts of the country of India, from all the states. At least 20 boys and 20 girls used to be selected from each state. And it so happened in 1977, the selection which used to be ad hoc on other previous years, that particular year they said that there is going to be a test. So I attended the test, but I was not selected, and just by 1 mark I missed it, in the sense that they would select only the topper, that is the first candidate who scored the highest mark. So just by 1 mark I missed. So I, from Bangalore, that is 1 girl and 1 boy would be selected from Bangalore. So from Bangalore I was not selected. So I was feeling very sad, and then since I had been with the Swami from Balvika's days, so when this has happened, I was feeling very sad. Then I went to the one of the photos in my house, and I was telling Swami, in your speeches you say that there should be two-way traffic. I love you, you love me, like that. But in my case, I feel that only I love you, you don't seem to love me, like that one kind of childish talk I was talking to Bhagwan. And that time it was almost nearing only 2 days left for summer course to start. My father said, I'm going to Vrindavan, if you are coming, you come. Then I went to Vrindavan with my sister also, and with my my mother and other sisters also we went, and we were standing. There was a big crowd because people who were already selected, they came from with their parents, and it was a huge crowd in Vrindavan. But I was sitting there, and I wanted to give this letter, whatever I spoke in front of the picture, I wanted to write the same thing and give it to Swami, because I was so upset that Swami had not selected me like that. Then what happened, I wrote the letter and I was keeping it in my hand. Swami came, and usually I never used to be scared of Swami because I used to emanate love from my side whenever I used to see Swami. But he came, and that day I was little scared to give the letter because I had written something rubbish in that. Then Swami came, you won't believe, he pulled his sleeve like that, and then he said, give me that letter. I was actually hiding it under my hands. He said, give me that letter. Then I gave that letter. And after giving the letter, I said, whatever may be, let anything happen, like that. Swami went for the darshan, and then he sat in the chair and he was holding the letters in his hand. It was a bhajan day, and after the bhajan did not end, but Swami would get up and go to his residence. Then people will rise up. So like that, when Swami got up from the chair and went, all the people, most of the people got up except the singers and a few people. But you won't believe, Swami had not even entered the gate of his residence, which is little far away, and he has to walk. He will slowly walk. He used to slowly walk, and it would take at least 10 minutes for him to reach that gate. That much of darshan people used to have behind that backside darshan of Swami also. So here what happened was, Swami had not even entered. Suddenly I heard somebody calling out my name, Nalini, Nalini, like that. And I was thinking, Hare, in this crowd, who knows my name except my family members? Who knows my name there? Then I went in the direction of where the sound was coming. When I went there, and opposite me, Dr. Sundar Rao, who was walking behind Swami, was coming towards me. And when he came near me, he said, here is your student badge. Swami wants you to come. Go home and bring all your luggage for a stay for 1 month here. That gave so much of joy for me. Not only that, he also selected my other sister as an invitee. So both of us, we came. And there were so many incidences during summer course which had happened personally between Swami and me, but I don't have time to say all these things. After my retirement, till my retirement, he was with me. He was guiding me. He was protecting me. And you can see that women in society, as Swami says, when women are honored and respected, there will be happiness and prosperity. It is there everywhere in the world. Now we see women as astronauts, we see women as leaders of the countries, we see women in any activity which were hitherto done by the men. We can find women in all these things. So I don't have much time to tell many more activities in which I was involved, and how Swami had supported me, spoke to me and encouraged me to do many things like this. I thank Swami for all the grace that he has conferred on me. Jai Sai Ram.
Sairam and Namaste to one and all. Lakshmi Sharma ji was born and brought up in Bangalore with degrees in biology and chemistry from the Bangalore University. During her third year of studying law, she got married and moved to the US to join her husband, Satyam Sharma ji. Blessed with two lovely children, Lakshmi ji and her family moved to several states before settling in New Jersey. Having worked as a quality control engineer for New Jersey, a chemist in the metal industry, and in the research department of Johnson & Johnson, Lakshmi ji has also spent much time doing seva through Bal Vikas and volunteering at hospitals, private houses, with elderly people, and cooking for homeless people at churches as well. Lakshmi ji, thank you so much for being here.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams to Baba and to you all. First of all, let me wish everybody Happy Ladies' Day. Such a great honor that we in Hinduism are Satya Sai Baba's fold. Women have such high respect, and we have dedicated Ladies' Day and Lakshmi Puja, Durga Puja, etc. in our Hinduism. So, Sai Kumari and Girish wanted me to say a few things about myself. My name is Lakshmi Sharma. I was not in Baba's fold for the longest time. Or should I say, he was there, but still I did not know that it was Baba. He came in different forms for us, as Rama, Krishna, Ganesha, or somebody else, because my parents, being in Bangalore, were not into Satya Sai Baba's fold or Shirdi Baba's fold. We were just going into all the temples that was around the neighborhood. Growing up, we would go to temple before school, after school, weekends, weekdays, every day, every season. So God was there around us all the time, and I had a firm belief that God would help us out if you pray hard and work hard. And little did I know, Baba came as Rama, Krishna, or Ganesha, or Shiva, because we were all the time helping to strive in our life, but he was there to help us. So, growing up in Bangalore, it was no big deal, or somebody did not have to pound on us to be religious or to believe in God. We just believed. And growing up, I would hear lots of voices and music in my ear. I would also get a lot of dreams. And I just did not know that nobody else was hearing stuff. But I was also afraid to ask anybody. I thought maybe they think I'm a weirdo. And well, some people still think I'm a weirdo. But irrespective of that, I would hear all these voices and music, and I would get dreams that would happen for real in a day or 2 or 3. So I did not know it's called as intuition, or I had special gift, or I was a weirdo. But anyway, as I grew and I asked my sisters, they said they did not hear anything, but they would get dreams too. And so also my mother would get a lot of dreams like this. So, and speaking of hearing voices, I would, or noises, or music, just before my marriage, I was constantly hearing Nadaswara in my ears. And Nadaswara is the music that's played during wedding time. And I didn't think I was getting married because my parents were not looking for a boy for me. And they were not prepared to get me married because they had no finance resource. They had exhausted everything they had because of my sister, older sister, who got married about 6 months back. And then my brother had gotten married 2 to 3 months back. So there was hardly any resource in the house. So with all these things, Baba was there for me because the wedding happened without any resources. And it happened within a week. And even today, I wonder how it happened. But moving forward, I came to this country and we had 2 children. Once we had children, we were moving because of my husband's job to different towns in Midwest. We had moved about 2 to 3 times. And each time we moved, it was smaller and smaller town. Back then, there was not much Indians in this country. And then there was not much diversity either in these small towns that we were moving into. So since my children were about teenage years, I was praying God that, I would like to have something where my kids can go and learn some, understanding of Hinduism, because it's so vast, and maybe somebody else can teach them what, all about our Hinduism. So I was looking for something like that, and lo and behold, when my kids were teenagers and we moved into this town, within a week of us moving, I found out that there was a Satya Sai Baba center very close to my house, and also they were doing Balavika classes for all the children. Anybody could go and register, and I was so happy. So I registered my 2 children, and they had a teacher by name Christian Mouse. And I said, I had this doubt, what can a white guy who is a Catholic Christian can teach about Hinduism to my children, that I cannot do anything. Being a Hindu, being from India, I don't even teach my children. So I started observing and studying his material and everything. My kids would come home and talk about Christian Mouse so much, and I listened to them. I started observing, and I started volunteering in the class, and Christian became my teacher also, because he was just not talking about Rama, Krishna, Mahabharata, War, or Ramayana, but he was talking the basic principles of human, the our Satya Sai Baba Institute, our Balavika's basic principle, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa, and also how head, heart, and hand should be going together and working together through various stories and through bhajans and everything. My kids were growing to be a lot more better human being than I thought. I was very, very happy, and as I started doing more and more working in Balavikas, and also eventually I also became a teacher, and then I went and served in a church for about 100 people with Balavika kids, and it was just a happy days for me. And Christian was the instrument for me to become a big devotee of Satya Sai Baba. And my kids were impacted by Christian Mouse, and even Christian Mouse had a big impact on me as well, because here I am a grown-up woman, and here is a foreigner who taught me the right path to come into Satya Sai Baba's fold and follow his teachings. And this is how I became a big devotee of Baba. So my experience is that it did not happen overnight, and it did not happen like a big way of where Baba materialized things for us. And it was slow and steady. It became a slow and steady but a firm path for us. So even today, my children are very respectful of Christian Mouse, and even today they talk about him, and it was a big change for us. So I thank Baba for bringing Christian Mouse into our life as a teacher and as a guru. So now let's talk about Ladies' Day. When I say Ladies' Day, I think of Ishwaramba first. Boy, what a lucky woman she is to have God himself as a son. And also Kausalya, Rama's mother, Devaki and Yashoda as Krishna's mother. So these are great mothers. But I also salute all the young girls and ladies and mothers of every street in India, and especially the girls, young girls and ladies who work and sell flowers, who work and come and clean your house, or who work on the streets, sweeping the floor of the streets, or selling flowers and vegetables. I salute them. It is easy for us, and we are lucky to be born in a house where education played, and no matter what, we were sent to colleges, and we earned a degree and started working and started making money. So it was given to us. We did not have to work much, but I applaud all the ladies and young girls in the streets who sell flowers and vegetables and clean the streets. How hard it is for them to make it through the day and feed their family. So I salute them first. So they are the greatest mothers and ladies of this world. Bhagavad Gita says that women are born with 7 kinds of powers, whereas men are born with only 3 kinds of powers. Oh well, men, you guys lost out. But anyway, our Hinduism has a story about Savitri where she brings back her dead husband to life. And how does she do that? With her power. She fought all the 7 powers together. She fought with Yama and brought her dead husband to life. Can a man do that? In a lot of houses, he cannot even take care of his wife when she is sick. So, knowing that much, I think we are underutilizing our 7 kinds of powers. We should be able to dip into all these 7 powers and achieve more, whether it's inside the house or outside the house. This reminds me also, about 15 years back when we were in Puttaparthi, we had a discussion about why Baba goes mostly towards men's side and talks to them. At the same time, he also invites more men into the interview room. Oh well, I think Baba knew very well that men needed his help more than women needed his help. So, at this time, I would like to say that in our Hinduism, we have 10 days of festival dedicated to Goddess Durga. And tell me which religion celebrates or has festivals for a goddess, let alone 10 days. No other religion like Hinduism has put female energy or goddess at the top and has been worshipped for so long. And we have to be lucky to be born in Hinduism. And there's a saying in Kannada that never estimate the distance to the sky, never estimate the depth of an ocean, never estimate depth of a woman. When I say depth, it's not a physical measurement, it is her heart and mind. Sometimes we act weak, but the next minute we can show our strength. Sometimes we are very happy, sometimes we are very loving, sometimes we are very tired and may not show all these things. But at the same time, maybe I should address that when I say never estimates the depth of a woman, I should probably say never underestimate the depth of a woman, because a woman is in all direction, very powerful, very nurturing, very loving. She has strength and she has knowledge. A lot of men think that woman is of weaker gender. Actually, we are much stronger than what men think. We can bear children or babies in our stomach for 9 full months. We will be so uncomfortable, but still we grin and bear it. And to deliver a baby is also quite painful. Some ladies go through 2 days, 3 days of pain, but still it's all worth it. And the pain doesn't end there. It goes through until the baby is grown into a certain age and stands on its own leg. We make so much sacrifice, we endure so much strength, we endure sorrow, and we are happy, and also getting tired as a boy or a girl grows into adulthood. Lately, everybody talks about empowerment. Empower. The meaning of it is give the power to or authority to. So, does it mean that we had the power and then somebody took it away? Who? I think it was taken away by men in our life, or men in the society, men in the community, men in the country, men in the culture, and men in this world. It was taken away from our world because of various reasons. And now times have changed. So ladies are becoming doctors, nurses, engineers, lawyers, scientists, entrepreneurs, CEOs of big companies, and ladies have gone to space also. So this shows and believe that women have more capabilities, strength, knowledge, health, and love to do anything and everything they want. Women wear lots of hats in their daily life. Women are multitasking. Let's talk about that. I think multitasking word was there even before it came into existence in our Hinduism. Because when I look at Durga photo with 8 hands, I think she was already multitasking in 8 different directions to get some job done. And she's called, Durga Devi is called Ashtabhuja with 8 hands. So we also can do multitasking with only 2 hands. So a woman teaches her children the right path. She steers her children in the right direction of life, and she teaches academic education or extra activity education. So she is called Saraswati. A woman cooks and feeds good nutritious food, and she is called Annapurneshwari. A woman goes out and earns and also allocates budgets and manages the finance, and she's called Lakshmi. So I think these are all multitasking even before the word multitasking came into existence. And Baba quotes that in this universe, among the merits of living beings, humanity is eminent. Among human beings, it is a privilege to be born as a woman. Baba says it is sinful to degrade a woman. Baba says it is sinful to consider a woman inferior to them. Baba says woman can do anything she wants. Baba says first a woman has to fulfill her duties in the house and then go out and do for others. The heart of a woman is highly sacred and is filled with nectarous love and compassion. Women are the fountains of love and compassion. Bhakti is considered feminine and Jnana is considered masculine. We have to honor every girl, every teenage girl, every woman, every mother, and every older woman. And how do we do that? We have to encourage, we have to help, we have to uplift, we have to love, we have to respect all the girls, moms, sisters, cousins, and everybody in the community, in your school, churches, and temples. Love is woman's life. Love is her breath. Love is in her heart. Love is in her action. Love is in her skin. With this, I thank you all for the opportunity to talk. And I thank Baba for giving me this opportunity. Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you all.
I take great pleasure in welcoming Dr. Vasanthi to our event today. Dr. Vasanthi, schooled in a convent, looked upon Mother Mary and Jesus to address her troubles. At the age of 18, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba mantled her in his fold, guiding her through dreams and in many other ways for over 56 years, after which there was no looking back in any aspect of her life. With a postgraduate degree in pediatrics, Dr. Vasanthi gave free services to children living in poverty through a local municipal hospital for over 25 years without remuneration. Through the aegis of Satya Sai organization, she served at various medical camps and villages in the outskirts of Mumbai for several years. Filled with courage, Dr. Vasanthi met life's challenges with a smile, surrounded with family members, relatives, friends and associates, and patients of all backgrounds. Also a poet, Dr. Vasanthi published a book of 90 poems for Swami's 80th birthday, which has been amply blessed by Swami. Additionally, an avid traveler and an editor, Dr. Vasanthi co-edited 2 books on parent teaching through the Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Once again, Dr. Vasanthi, thank you so much for being here.
Greetings to everyone. I'm very happy to be here today for the Ladies' Day celebration. And at the outset, let me thank Girish ji and the Girisha Yoga Foundation for this wonderful concept of bringing the Swami's birthday celebrations to the world at large, so that the world benefits out of Swami's message. That being said, let us see what Ladies' Day is about. Swami started Ladies' Day in the year 1995. And the idea is to project woman in the manner in which she has to be perceived in the world. Anyone born as a girl child is specially lucky. She, along with God, is the creator of life. And in that sense, she's partner with God. However, the idea of her role has gone down over a period of time, and with the result that people are not aware of the true importance and the true values of womanhood. If woman were given her true importance, she being the fabric of society, she being the creator along with God, would play a big role in changing values and concepts in society. She is the one on whose lap humanity nourishes. She is Stree, the co-creator in creation. That being said, we need to see how her role can be addressed and modified so that the world take cognizance of her importance and is able to benefit out of her role in society. What is the role of the male and the female aspect of life? Are they two separate, independent entities doing their own roles? Or is there a harmony among them? Is there a unity among these roles? The dance of life is something that happens as a Shiva and Shakti dual principle that becomes one. They have their individual costumes, but their role is one, to bring in harmony and joy and peace in the universe. Shiva is the male aspect. He is the higher spirit. Shakti is the motivating force throughout creation. She, as mother, as daughter, as wife, as companion, is able to take on every single challenge in life and address each one of them so that she comes out victorious. She may not have fought in the front lines of war, but she has had her own battles and emerged victorious each time. She is the pillar of society. And being the pillar of society, the pillar has to be strong so that the roof remains intact. If the pillar collapses, the roof collapses. So what are all the problems that the woman of today faces? There has been a paradigm shift, and no more true values are considered important. False values, false glamour is given importance, as a result of which women run to glamour. Women lead very superficial lives, and a whole generation has been radicalized to think that that is where life should be. This has resulted in broken homes, divorces, misunderstanding in family lives. Children are no longer happy. Children don't get the example from their parents, and children are complaining that parents don't have enough time for them. So parents and children are far apart from each other. So how will Swami's teachings change the situation, you may ask? Swami has brought about a change in the attitude towards women. He has established a women's college in Anantapur to teach them the real values. He says that the real values should begin right from the womb. So every woman has to harbor good thoughts, good words, and do good deeds even during pregnancy, so that the unborn child also gets these imbued into them. Any girl child should be given the right education. She should be made complete to be able to tackle every aspect that education has to offer, so that she may not go as a warrior in the front line of war, but she will be a good leader, a good housewife, a good person in society, and manage life independently. She can be good not only in her own family, she can be a wonderful wife, and she can be a wonderful source of support in her in-laws' family, and carry on this string of strength from the whole family and hand it over to the next generation. A very important facet of Swami's teaching, Swami's message to everyone, be it a man or woman, was love all, serve all. This was taken further to teach women to be of service to society. Swami always goaded women to serve selflessly, with selfless love, wherever they went, so that, be it in the family, be it in the house where they were born, or in the family that they went and joined later, the lady of the house learned to be selfless and giving, And with this selfless and giving, she nurtured love in herself and she nurtured love in the family. The areas of service would take her far and wide and take her to establish a society where we care more for all the people around us than only focus on our own personal lives. Lot of women, a number of women of the Sai fold have been doing yeoman service in all parts of the world because of this very important Swami's teaching to everyone who he wanted to take as a life lesson. Love all and serve all. Women too carried this motto wherever they went. She leads a dharmic life. And when she leads a dharmic life, she follows this and she is able to give this on to the next generation. It is easy for her because by nature she is more serious about following dharma and she will be easily carrying it forward all through life. She is also more spiritual. She will be able to understand what spirituality means. She will be able to give this down, practice spirituality herself and allow it to spread all over and therefore bring about a society which is far more than religious. She will be truly spiritual and she will be the agent of spirituality. Do we have any examples of women who have followed Swami's guidelines and teachings? All along, even before Swami's time, there were people who followed his dictums. We have, for example, we have Shivaji Maharaj's mother, Jijabai. She was an essence of dharma. She practiced dharma and she taught her son what is valor. She taught him the principles of dharma so that he became a mighty warrior. We have in addition Jhansi Ki Rani. She was no less a person who understood true values. And similarly, we had Mahatma Gandhi's mother. If you look at all such people, we had Mirabai, who left her palace and went and followed Krishna. She was so devoted to Krishna that became her sole life. And she stands as a being to be emulated in life. During Swami's time, we had M.S. Subbalakshmi. She was a paragon of virtue. In addition, we had Dr. Hema Gopinathan, who was the deputy superintendent, who is still there, the deputy superintendent of the General Hospital at Puttaparthi. She was a cardiologist by training in Canada, but she came down to serve the rural areas of Tamil Nadu, and then further, she came directly to Puttaparthi. And over here, she continues to serve the downtrodden people who come to the hospital. No one can forget the role of Sarla Ben Shah, the great Indulal Shah, who was the Bhishma Pitamaha of the Satya Sai organization, his beloved wife. She not only carried forward the Mahila Vibhag, she also became the national convener for the Bal Vikas. And she carried on the activities of Bal Vikas in total fervor, in giving values to the children who come to Bal Vikas. She believed that every house should have a Bal Vikas running, every mother should be a guru. She was so careful in her attire that she was an epitome in the way she conducted herself, be it her attire, be it her graceful manner. She believed in Swami and she followed Swami's principles. There are many down the line who have followed Swami's principles and who stand today as examples to be emulated. And having said that, one can say that we have to carry on this beacon of light, of emulating Swami's teachings, spreading his message, spreading the oneness that he talks about, celebrating Ladies' Day. There was a time I used to wonder, why is Ladies' Day only one day? Does all other day belong to men? Slowly got over this idea after understanding that Swami believes that Ladies' Day is one day where the lady is acknowledged so that everyone can see that Swami is acknowledging the lady. So let us acknowledge her role in society. Let us give her the strength so that she makes it a better world for everyone to live in. So, ever so often, I have been asked, what has been the role of Swami in your life? Yes, I did get to know of him at the age of 18. And most definitely, that should make people ask question as to what was Swami's impact on my life. Let me begin by stating that Swami tried to chisel me out even before I was 18 years old. Now, I chose such parents who had the kind of values that helped me mold into what Swami would have liked me to become. I was the middle child among 3 siblings. Being the middle child, my elder brother, he used to be very stealthy in his habits. I was very open. And I used to get all the blows. Being the middle child, I got the blow from the father and the blow from the mother. I used to get blows for all the naughtiness that I exhibited right from early on. My younger sister was a pet. Being the youngest, she didn't get those blows. But I received blows for telling lies, for coming late from school. In fact, once I sold a ball to a neighboring child for 1 rupee, so that I have an extra rupee to keep with me. And that came out the very next day, and I got beaten up for not having the right value. So these things started right from my childhood, and over a period of time, as I grew into my teens, I got molded with honesty and obedience. I developed faith in God. That was a must because school reports would come, and one had to present a good school report to parents. So I used to pray to Jesus and Mary because I went to a convent. Subsequently, Swami came into my life, and that is where there was an entire metamorphosis, and I learned a lot more of values. My mother, before she passed away, she said, I have beaten you when you were a child. I have scolded you, rebuked you so much. But what I see coming from you now is wondrous. It is something that I'm proud about. This is a certificate from my mother before she passed away. The most beautiful certificate that I can treasure all through my life. It was my mother who instilled in me concepts about Swami and made me feel that I should make Swami love me. Of course, he always loved me. He loved me much more than I could ever love him. And so I tried to imbibe all those qualities, be it honesty, obedience, love, compassion, and through this I moved through life. When I was 18, Swami blessed me with a career of medicine and further made me a pediatrician. That was one of the best blessings I got in my life, as I began to see God in every little child that was brought to me. In fact, He used to come to me in my dreams and give me a lot of guidance. And that went a long way to really carve out what I became in life. My father and mother were both strong devotees of Swami, and I had no way of going anywhere else because I became a very obedient child. As I did my medicine, before I did my medicine, I must mention to you about some important values that I developed reading his books. One of them was Namasmaran. So I went on saying Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. I used to go to the hospital on the way to college, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, so that when sometimes it became a default inside me. So if there was a jerk in the vehicle, I would say Sai Ram. And everyone else would get a bit embarrassed. But for me, it was default. I once went to Bhima Shankar. Bhima Shankar is one of the toughest places to trek. But I decided that I will go there. Though it is my first time. People told me, don't try to trek Bhima Shankar. Regular trekkers avoid Bhima Shankar. But I had new shoes. So I wanted to use my new shoes. So I said, no, I will go to Bhima Shankar. There was this stubbornness in me. When I was a child of 3 or 4-year-old, someone said, remove that chili out of that child's plate. And all I saw was somebody removing something out of my plate. I created hell. And I said, I want that taste of that chili. I want the taste of that chili. I wept and didn't allow the rest to eat, till they gave me a bit of that chili in my mouth, which I wanted to experience. And having got that chili, I started crying again because of the burning that the chili caused. And that stubborn was I. So I went to Bhima Shankar with the same stubbornness. And as I climbed, I started panting. I said, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And I panted. And I said, Sai Ram. And I was going through, I fell down. And when I fell down, I was afraid. Have I broken my bone? I got up in one piece. I said, Sai Ram. And then I said, I will go through this without a fall. But believe me, I trekked up for 6 hours from 10 in the morning till about 4 in the evening. And all along, I kept falling. I kept falling on rocky stones, but did not get hurt by one of them. Not a single abrasion. Rain fell on me. I got breathless. I was afraid I would even fall down dead. But nothing happened. And Sai Ram, I reached the top after 6 hours. And there they were waiting to greet me wondrously, applauding me, though I was very guilty of what I had done. But definitely Namasmaran came to my rescue. When I was a young girl, I used to think that I will help one family, a downtrodden family, to build a home, educate the children in that family, provide them sustenance, and they would look after another family, do the similar things to someone else, and this way I would eradicate the poverty in the entire country. So though this idea seemed very simplistic and impossible for me, when I became a pediatrician, I decided to give my services free in a place where the poor attended. So the municipal hospital was a very easy venue. So I went to the municipal hospital And it was there that I found Swami's presence. Swami had put his hand on my head and said, I will look after everything. I'm always there with you. Don't worry. So I would take my rounds with the presence of Swami with me. And as I took my rounds, I would be able to visualize Swami or Jesus and Mary or a Lord Ganesh. And as I moved through the ward, whatever needed to be done, be it a medicine dose that had to be corrected, be it an injection that was not given, be it an X-ray that was not taken right, they all stood up on their own, and I was able to correct everything that needed. Why? Once there was a very trustworthy doctor where I always believed whatever he said. And on one morning when I went on round, I asked him, has the swelling of the feet of this child disappeared? He said, yes, it is gone. I don't know, it was Swami who made me take out that blanket to reveal a lot of swelling. And then I stared at him. How did he tell me a thing like that? He was unable to answer, but I was able to treat that child. That was where the presence of Swami always showed up. And this led to further commitment and further service. Since I needed to look after the child, every child, those who came who could not be managed in my hospital had to be sent elsewhere. But sometimes I accompanied them, being their voice, because they needed to get the right treatment. There was this 2-year-old child who was admitted with severe breathlessness and had pneumothorax. Pneumothorax is a very severe condition. If you have pneumothorax, you can be breathless and the heart can stop within a few minutes, or it can take an hour. You never know when you can lose that patient. So this child had pneumothorax. I told the father, look, I'm not very sure that I can save this child, but I need to take him to another hospital. I don't know whether he will be able to withstand the transport. The father said, do what you can. I have only this one child and I will not have another, because very recently I have been diagnosed as having leprosy. I sank within myself as I thought of the baby's fate and of the parents' fate. I bundled the child and put her in an ambulance, it was a male child, put him in an ambulance, and we moved to a hospital which was 6 to 8 kilometers away. All the time I was watching, is he breathing? Has he stopped breathing? And I keep going, saying, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And again looking, has the child stopped breathing? There is so much of rain. The traffic snarls were not allowing a quick movement. And it took us 40 minutes to reach. But even before that, I realized that there is a little vibhuti in my purse. Swami's vibhuti. I hunted it out and put it in the child's mouth without taking the parents' permission. And I said, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, and took the child to the other hospital. Contacted a cardiovascular surgeon. In short, I'm not giving you the details. As the cardiovascular surgeon entered, and even before he was able to put in his drainage into the child's chest, the child was almost taking his last breath, which is called a chin tug, which means the child breathes with a little bit of chin going, a little stretching the skin as he's trying, the chin, as he's trying to take his breath. At that time, the drainage tube enters the child's chest. Slowly the air comes out and the lung expands, and the child is saved. This was not done by me. It was done by my Namasmaran, it was done by my Vibhuti. And it gave me the joy, apart from the parents who got the joy. So these kind of situations repeated themselves. Another very important lesson I learned through Swami's interference is forgiveness. Why forgiveness? I got many opportunities in my life to serve people in many ways. Some I pushed up with my contacts to help them in their careers. Some others I helped them through medical interference. And some I helped them with some finances. Every time I did that, I did it with an open heart. But somehow, some of these people would humiliate me at some time. I was left with no option but to bear the humiliation. But these very people would sometimes come back to me for further help. And at that time, I would forget whatever was their earlier behavior and help them out. Because forgiveness was very important. It was important. Swami taught me that when I die and I stand before him, he will ask me, why did you not help this person? It was I who came before you with a medical need. It was I who needed some money and I came to you. And you didn't help me because you felt I humiliated you. I was always worried of being asked such a question by Swami. So I cultivated forgiveness, which has always stood me in being happy. So this way I have been growing from strength to strength. And as we pass on in life, as we go through life, we get very many learnings, we get very many chances to increase our strength. All we need to do is to keep increasing our strength. And all we need to do is to see that our weaknesses are brought down. And as we do this, we will find that we will become glorious and we will be pillars of society and leave behind a better world. Thank you.
Sairam and Namaste to one and all.
నా భాగ్యమే భాగ్యం కదా.
తగదజను తజం తగదజను తదిరన తనదిరనది నాద్రతని తజం తగదజను తజం తగదజను తజం తగదజను తదిరన తనదిరనది తిరన తిల్లన తదిరన తనదిరనది ஆனந்த நடமாடும் நடராஜன் ஆனந்த நடமாடும் நடராஜன் ஆனந்த நடமாடும் நடராஜன் சபேஷன் பொன்னம்பல தரசனை புகழ்ந்து பாடுவோம் கரிசனி சார் ததுங்கினதும் தபாமகமப தத்திங்கினதும் தரம் கரிசனி சார் ததுங்கினதும் தபாமகமப தத்திங்கினதும் தகஜம் சரிதா சகரி பாமகரி சனி சார் ததுங்கினதும் தபாமகரி ததுங்கினதும் தகஜம் சரிதா சகரி பாமகரி சனி சார் ததுங்கினதும் தபாமகரி ததுங்கினதும் தரதிரனா தனதிரனதி திரனதில்லன ததிரன தனதிரனதி தனதிரனதி தனதிரனதிரன திரனதி
Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. IST and 9:30 a.m. EST for Children's Day program. Tomorrow, Sai Ram.